Nicolle, I played at the top of the show a whole lot of stuff about hate preachers, predominantly in Western Sydney, but of course they're in other mosques and other Islamic centres around the country. The top Palestinian spokesman in Australia, he has advocated for the destruction of Israel. He's claimed that all the world's power structures focus on Zionism. He says if Israel falls over, we destroy Western imperialist control of the world. It ushers in the liberation of the earth. Now, this is the same bloke who not so long ago met with the Foreign Minister Penny Wong and Labor MP Jed Carney this month.
I just find this extraordinary as well, Peter, and Minister Penny Wong, who is one of the government's most senior ministers, needs to explain why she had this meeting, and she needs to vehemently, absolutely and utterly distance herself from and reject these statements that this gentleman has made, and again restate her support for Israel and people like Peter, the over 100 survivors of the Holocaust who live here in Australia, who are on the front page of The Australian today saying, we need your support. And the way that the world is going and the nation is going at the moment, they are terrified that we are going to see a repeat of the Holocaust because it began with this sort of behaviour, with these sorts of statements, and it needs to be stopped now.
Jono, two things that have collided in the last couple of days for me. This new data out today that says the mining and resource companies have paid more money to the tax office than every other single sector of the economy combined. This is the sector they want to close down, but of course this is money in our budget. It pays for the NDIS and our hospitals and everything else. But also this push by Westpac, following the government's announcement that they're really going to target farmers, this push by Westpac to basically have a net zero policy in relation to money they'll lend those in the agricultural sector, and the government's push to say to farmers, you've got to do more, you've got to lift your weight, we're really going to target you now on climate emissions.
Yeah, this is the madness that we are seeing in the corporate sector. I mean, on the tax first, this is something that I'm glad you've raised. You know, the Labor government are spruiking this first surplus in 20 years. No reference to the resources sector that gave them the revenue to be able to claim this surplus, and no reference to the fact that out of the taxes they collect from the mining and resources sector, they're handing millions of dollars to organisations like the Environmental Defenders Office, who are holding up new resources and mining projects through the courts, through green lawfare. And when it comes to companies like Westpac, banks like Westpac, who are saying, well, we're going to have to make things a little bit tougher in terms of our emissions and environmental obligations, well, the net result of all of this is we're going to do less business here. We're going to send it offshore to countries where they don't care about our environment, where they just want to make a buck. They don't have the same rules and protections, and it will be a net negative for the environment, let alone the economy. It's bad news all round.
Nicolle Flint, I know you're a farmer. We'll get into that with you next week. John O'Daniam, thank you both for your time.